The Rangers have their first two-game winning streak of the season. They defeat the Calgary Flames 3-1 at the Saddle Dome. This was a game where the Rangers started out slow, fell behind 1-0, but Igor Shesterkin and the special teams are the reason that they won this game. Rangers scored 3 goals in the second period, 2 on the power play, 1 was 4-on-4. And the Rangers were 4 for 4 successfully on the penalty kill. So, not to say that this was a lopsided game from a 5-on-5 standpoint, but I thought the Rangers sat back a bit in the third period. I actually agree with Peter Laviolette's assessment. I mean, they didn't give the Flames a crazy amount of grade A opportunities in the third, but at the same time, they were kind of sitting back a little bit more in defensive mode, blocking shots, and not so much on the offensive. I look at Calgary, and I'm not very impressed by them. I don't think this is going to be a very good team. Again, that's kind of the thing with the Western Conference. The East, just certainly from a depth point of view, the East is definitely a lot stronger. And I'd even say up at the top, sure, you're going to have, Vegas and Colorado. Of course, there are some really good teams towards the top of the West. But I just think that, as I said, and look, there's still 3 more games on this Western trip. There's winnable games on the schedule here, and the Rangers get the job done against Calgary, which was really good. Like I said, Igor, who only made 24 saves, which isn't that much, but the quality of them were really good. Made some great saves. And look, Calgary's been a house of horrors for the Rangers. This is their first win at Calgary since 2018. So during the Quinn and Gallant era, they didn't win in Calgary. And I know Igor, at the very least, it must 2 seasons ago, and I can't quite, last season isn't ringing a bell so quickly, but 2 seasons ago, I know, really struggled in that game. So it's good to see Igor do well after, look, he came off of a performance against Nashville where he was pulled. And I didn't think that game was his fault at all, but after Igor gets pulled, the next game, he always does really well. So I think, he full marks to him. And then, the Rangers, like I said, got off to the first 5 to 10 minutes were not good at all. But I thought the last 5 minutes of the first, they started playing better, started getting chances, and that led to good fortune in the second period where they draw a few penalties, they score on the power play a couple of times, and that was really key. So same lineup, besides, of course, Igor being in for Quick as last game. So Tyler Pitlick, that's been a bit of a theme for him being a healthy scratch. I'm going to say this right now. Blake Wheeler has been just really, really bad. And for me, again, patience is required. It's nothing that is so crucial at this moment. But I think that it gets to a point where, because it had been Jimmy Vesey alternating with Pitlick. To me, Blake Wheeler is deservedly the guy that would be the next healthy scratch, assuming everyone stays healthy, doesn't get hurt, which of course could happen. But I certainly would let Wheeler play the next 3 games against Edmonton, Vancouver, and Winnipeg, because of course that's a big time homecoming for him. He played with that organization for a long, long time, even dating back to when they were the Atlanta Thrashers even. That's how long it's been for Wheeler. But then after that, if he doesn't do that well, I certainly am very much very open to him being out the scratch, because I think that Tyler Pitlick probably gives you more positively, at least on the penalty kill, than Blake Wheeler does. But I don't want to make this so much about him. This is a Ranger win. As far as some of the good Rangers, I thought Alexis Lafrenière, who the ice time ends up not being there because of the fact they had a lead, which I don't really see. That's maybe where I disagree with Laviolette. I noticed that Chytil line didn't play as much. Granted, they were on for the first goal against, which was, to the fault of Filip Chytil specifically. But speaking of Chytil, so Lafrenière I thought looked excellent. Filip Chytil as well recovered from that bad sequence, and I thought he played a really good game. And Erik Gustafsson. Erik Gustafsson has been a very, very nice pickup. So, you look back at free agent frenzy day, right? I think it's switched over time. I think it was July 1st this year again. Either way, the first day of free agency in the offseason. And, I was talking about different acquisitions. Erik Gustafsson, by far, was the most important one and the best one, right? Because like I said, Blake Wheeler, he looks honestly cooked. Look, I'll happily be wrong about that, but he doesn't look very good. Gustafsson, I like what he brings to the table. And he is very good offensively. And it's not like I'm seeing him be horrible defensively, because that happens a lot where you have these offensive defensemen. Think Keith Yandel. In terms of Rangers in recent years, that one definitely sticks out. I guess Dan Boyle to an extent, although that wasn't a very long tenure. And I guess neither necessarily was Yandel. But think just about, third pair of guys that, have... Michael Del Zotto is not really necessarily a fair... Because there was a time when Del Zotto was actually not terrible defensively. The point is this. There's plenty of guys in the league who are third-pair defensemen who you want to have in the lineup because you know what they can provide on the offensive side, but they really are a major liability defensively. And I don't think Gustafsson's been all that horrible defensively. There's been some bad moments, but this is a guy that is locked into that lineup, and as he should be. So let's talk about the game from beginning to end. And like I said, first period, just a bad, slow start. In Calgary, they had lost the last couple games as well. So they were hungry, and they score 1:15 in. Blake Coleman, the former Devil and Lightning, scores his second goal of the season from Backlund and Mangiapane. So also keep in mind, I think, although I'm not 100% sure, I think this was the first game against... That last year's Calgary game in Calgary is just escaping me. But... they had, you know what? I think that the road Calgary game, yeah, it was later in the season, because there was that memorable game in MSG, which was honestly a fun, Trouba had the hit on, was it Kadri? There was a lot, and Lafrenière won in overtime. It was a pretty crazy game. It happened around February. So, but yeah, I do think that they probably did play again, and Calgary won that game. Either way, you get the Flames with a 1-0 lead, and Chytil turns it over, and then just is out of position, and Coleman's just wide open. I think that was kind of Chytil's responsibility, so not a great thing there. And I really like what Chytil's done recently, but I will say that there have been some defensive lapses with turnovers and things of that sort, so definitely want to clean that up. So Calgary takes 1-0 lead, and then Igor makes a lot of key saves. This could have gotten worse, but the Rangers were able to hang tight, and they really had some good chances towards the end of that period. I think about Chytil, Lafrenière, Braden Schneider had a shot that rang off the post. They were really starting to get things going. And then the second period, Rangers take a bench, too many men on the ice penalty, 52 seconds in, but the penalty kill does a nice job in killing that off. Then Jacob Trouba draws a holding penalty. Matt Coronado takes the penalty, and the Rangers do score on the power play, and it's the second unit. And I'm glad to see that they're getting a chance to play. And that is deserved, and I'm happy about it. And it's a goal by Alexis Lafrenière, his third goal of the season from Gustafsson and Chytil. So this is a shot by Gustafsson from the point. Lafrenière deflects it. Also give a little bit of credit to Will Cooley, who was kind of, it's funny, when Gustafsson first shot it, I thought that maybe it was a double deflection. I don't think it ever got to Cooley, but it certainly got to Lafrenière. And so it's good to see Lafrenière having 3 goals in the first 6 games of the season. Ties the game up at 1. Then Trocheck, I'll give him this. So Trocheck takes 2 penalties. They were kind of weak, but at the same time, Trocheck takes so many penalties, and it's ironic because Ryan Strome, it drove me nuts. The amount of penalties that he took, especially in the offensive zone, was just maddening. And now Trocheck, who is basically the replacement of Ryan Strome on this team, he actually does the same thing. Either way, thought the calls were not great. Slashing on Trocheck, / Jordan Osterley, but the Rangers kill it off. Then Zadorov holds Trocheck, so Trocheck does draw a penalty. And the Rangers do score. This time it's the first power play unit, who was actually on after the second unit. So the second unit didn't do so well here. Laviolette gave him a chance to start. And then just before the power play was going to run out, it's the classic Chris Kreider tip-in. Just a tough angle. It's assisted by Panarin and Fox. So Panarin puts it in the right place, and Kreider does his thing. And it seems like it changes year by year. 2 years ago, Kreider was scoring the power play like crazy. Then that was taken away last year, and it was Zibanejad who was scoring a lot of power play goals. Now it's back to Kreider. Mika still doesn't have a goal in the season, and Kreider has some room in front. And so it's Kreider from Panarin and Fox at 14:09. That would be the game-winning goal, and it would give the Rangers a 2-1 lead. Then you get the Trocheck slashing penalty at 15:22. He slashes Kadri. At that point, it was more so just a bad shift for the Rangers, and it put Trocheck in a spot where, again, I thought it was a little bit of a weak call, but like they were scrambling around. But luckily, Kreider draws a penalty on the penalty kill. Weegar trips him, because if not, Kreider might have been off to the races. So it's 4-on-4, and the Rangers score. It would be a goal by Gustafsson, his second goal of the season, assisted by Chytil and Miller. So what happens here is Chytil takes a shot, and it trickles behind Jacob Markstrom, the Calgary Flames goaltender, and Gustafsson on the spot is able to tap it in, pokes it in. So good job. Again, that's sort of those offensive instincts for Gustafsson to be there, and it makes it 3-1 Rangers, and they would have a 3-1 lead. Will Cooley would take a late penalty in the second. He boards Blake Coleman at 19:35, but the Rangers would kill it off to start the third. And then, like I said, Rangers kind of sat back a little bit. They kept Calgary to the outside. Igor made some good saves, but it wasn't all bad, but I just felt like, again, little bit too much defensive. We saw a lot of the fourth line. And, Nick Bonino, like I keep on saying, like the defensive instincts are very much there. And so I do like that. How is he fit? Not great face-off wise, which is, what you're looking for from him. But the thing is, Bonino, I think that he will be a very useful player down the stretch. I know he's not going to get you much offense, but I'm not going to be too negative on Bonino. As far as Barclay Goodrow, though, like, it's been rough. I just don't like what I've seen from Goodrow. At the same time, he is a key penalty kill guy. He is versatile. Like, there's value there. But, I think that it's been a rough beginning for him. And to me, he looks worse than he had in the previous two seasons. But, yeah, a lot of fourth-line action. Didn't see as much of the Chytil line. But the Rangers are able to get the job done. Calgary takes a couple of penalties at the end. At 18:24, Chris Tanev actually is called for interference. Igor Shesterkin's stick ends up coming loose. And eventually Tanev just pushes it away. You can't do that. So penalty. And then Blake Coleman hooks Adam Fox at 18:58. Rangers have a 5-on-3 for the last minute. They don't score on that. But Adam Fox got booed all night. The former Calgary draft pick. Whenever they come out to Calgary, Fox is booed very often, very regularly. They don't forget that he really didn't want to go to the Flames. And so anyway, the Rangers win at 3-1. Nice win. I'm just glad that while it wasn't one of their better performances, they are able to win 2 games in a row. They had been alternating win and loss, and now they get that win. So they're 4-2 now. And now they will take on a Connor McDavid-less Edmonton Oilers team who is struggling right now. They're 1-4-1. This game, I still feel like is going to be like a run-and-gun, high-scoring game. It's like you still have Leon Draisaitl. There's still a lot of talent on Edmonton. And look, they're going to be very desperate at 1-4-1. So as much as this is, the Rangers catch a break, although, look, Connor McDavid is just a special player. So it is unfortunate we won't get to watch him. But like I said, Rangers do catch a bit of a break there with no McDavid. But yeah, we'll see what happens there, because I'm sure Edmonton fans are kind of freaking out a bit 6 games into the season. So not the game we expected, but I still expect it to be, one of the a high-scoring affair against the Oilers. But again, expect a hungry Edmonton team. Rangers are able to get it done tonight against Calgary. And yeah, like I said, Igor Shesterkin was really, really good. Probably, I'll go as far as to say his best win of the season. And in the Rangers' 4 wins, they've only allowed 1 goal in each of those games. And the games that they've lost, the 2 they've lost, they've allowed a lot of goals. So that's the key. It's kind of, and that's why it's a bit Jekyll and Hyde with the Rangers, where it's either 1 goal allowed or it's like 4 or 5. And I kind of fear that Edmonton, it might kind of be more the 4 or 5, but hopefully the Rangers can score goals themselves. And the special teams tonight was very good, power play and penalty kills. So Rangers are now 2-0 on this West Coast trip. The middle game of the 5-game trip will be in Edmonton. So Rangers go from Calgary to Edmonton, and they will enjoy this 3-1 victory.